so excited to cook along with you guys. All right, let's see. Are you live with me?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay. Alrighty, everyone. My name's Allianna Schneider. For those of you that are new here, tonight we are baking, as you could call it, two of my favorite recipes. We're making banana cream smoothies and AIP pancakes. So if you're familiar with AIP, it's the autoimmune protocol. It's a protocol we use with people here at KCN with chronic health issues, autoimmune conditions, help really reset the body and figure out what our triggers are. So this protocol eliminates a lot of the top allergen foods that we typically are sensitive to, and you slowly add them back in. All right, so before we get started, we are making pancakes, like I said, and a banana cream smoothie. Smoothie is so good, something that even your children will eat. So we're gonna move this on over so you guys can see my blender. We are making our pancake batter and our smoothie in my Ninja. I love this Ninja blender. It is high power, high speed. I've had it for I think like 7 years now. It's never broken. It's great. So I'm gonna add my milk here. If you are doing AIP, I suggest using coconut milk. Trader Joe's has a coconut milk brand that you can get in a can that is totally AIP friendly. If you aren't doing the AIP diet but just want a dairy-free alternative, almond milk is great as well. I try and stay away from soy milk. I'm not really a fan of it, but I do like almond milk. All right, so I have my yogurt. I have my milk. As far as yogurt goes, so you can totally use almond milk, like I said, if you're not AIP, but there is a brand of coconut yogurt. It's called Cocoyo, and it is by far the best AIP yogurt brand out there. Literally just cultures and coconut milk, and the yogurt is creamy. It tastes great. It is a little bit more pricier, but you get what you pay for, and the quality is really good. So there's no crazy additives in it. What I found is, even though there are other coconut milk yogurts out there, they have funky things in them. So pay attention to what is in your labels. All right, so I'm going to press blend here, puree it. Let's see what we got unplugged. Uh-oh. My lid's not on. All right. I was going to say, I literally just got done telling you guys that this blender has been good to me for 8 years. I hope I did not jinx it. All right, so I'm going to pour this in here. And if you want, one of my favorite ways to make this smoothie is with frozen bananas. I don't know about you, but sometimes I buy way too many bananas, and then I'm like, what am I going to do with these all before they get way too ripe and I can't use them? Throw them in the freezer, unpeel them, throw them in the freezer in a Ziploc bag, and you can use those for your smoothies, and they work wonders. All right, so I have my smoothie here. I'm going to take some gluten-free graham crackers. If you're doing AIP, you can totally use an AIP cookie and just sprinkle it on top, and voila. Super simple. This is great for snacks, breakfast. You can even add protein powder in it. If you're doing AIP, you can use collagen peptides, which is a great alternative. All right, so I'm going to dump the rest of this in my pitcher here because we're going to use the same blender for our AIP waffles. I'm going to rinse it out. Okay, So if you're new with cooking, baking with cassava flour, I'm just going to give you a little rundown. It's different than any other kind of flour. The consistency, the texture, everything about it is different. But it's so much fun to bake with and cook with once you get the hang of it. Not all brands are created equally, so I really like to use Oto's cassava flour. This is the only brand I use. I use it for all my personal chefing clients. I use it for all the stuff I make at home. I just find that it's the most consistent and you get the best bang for your buck with it. You get it on Amazon, at Whole Foods. So I have my cassava flour all measured out. I'm going to dump it in here. The thing about cooking, baking with cassava is sometimes you have to add a little extra based off of how dry or how wet your dough is. Because like I said, it's just a different kind of consistency. And even though Oto's is pretty consistent, it can vary from batch to batch. I'm using coconut milk and tapioca starch. So tapioca helps things, how do I word it? I don't want to say stretch, but holds things together. And so it's very similar to arrowroot. You'll see in a lot of AIP recipes. Arrowroot is used in sauces. It's kind of like cornstarch, and so is tapioca. It's a great cornstarch or alternative because it really helps hold things together. We have some baking soda, apple cider vinegar. Typically, in most recipes, not all, you can use arrowroot and tapioca interchangeably. Unless the recipe specifically says you can't, because they're very, very similar. All right, so you can use honey or maple syrup as your sweetener for this. Keep in mind that maple syrup has a little bit of a richer taste than honey. So honey tends to be a more mild sweetener, and maple syrup, you can definitely taste it. All right. I'm going to add my banana. You can totally use pumpkin puree for this, or you can use a banana. This banana is super ripe, which means it'll help sweeten these pancakes. I'm going to add a tiny bit of water, and then I'm going to adjust the water to what the batter looks like. So if the batter is real thick, I'm going to add a little bit more water, but I don't think that'll be the issue. All right, so I'm going to put this on. Banana stack. So sometimes whenever you're blending things like this, you can use one of these plastic rubber spatulas. You can push things down on the side to help get everything mixing in. All right. Okay, that smells amazing. Okay, so the key with cooking these pancakes is these pancakes are going to come out pretty small in comparison to big pancakes, because they won't be able to flip if you made them into big pancakes. So you'll see in the recipe notes that you just want to keep them in small, mini little pancakes. So I'm going to spray my pan. I'm using avocado oil right here. You can totally use regular avocado oil and put it in your own spray bottle. But I found this at the store and I wanted to show it to you guys. I think I got that at Costco. All right. So I have my skillet on. I'm going to grab, I'm going to use this little scooper so my portions are equal. I'm just going to scoop my batter in. I'm using about a 1-inch cookie scoop. You can totally use this, or you can even just pour it right out of the container. All right. So I'm going to let this cook for a minute, and then I'm going to flip them. What questions do you guys have for me? The recipes for both of these are both on my website, alliannaskitchen.com. It's ALLIANNAS kitchen.com. And it walks you through the step-by-steps, but I want to show you guys how these turn out. So let's let this cook for a minute. I'm going to grab a plate. You also want to use a big enough spatula whenever you're making pancakes so it can flip the whole pancake without it falling apart. You don't want to use a mini spatula, and then you risk it falling apart. So let's see here. Still want to give this a minute. Does anyone have any requests for our next live, our next cooking class together? Anyone? Any questions in the chat? All right, I think next week we're going to cook popcorn shrimp. Not next week, our next live, which I think is in a few weeks, we're going to cook popcorn shrimp with bang bang sauce. It is amazing. It's one of the most requested items with my personal chefing clients. They love it, and it's something your whole family can eat, and it's super simple. I also use the cassava flour to bread the shrimp. That's my go-to flour to use when I'm breading anything. It works great, not only baked goods, but in all recipes. Something you get nice and crispy, like popcorn shrimp, popcorn chicken. All right, so I'm gonna flip these. When you're flipping them, you want to be gentle or they will fall apart. Because remember, cassava flour is a different consistency. So you want, it is different than if you're making regular pancakes. You want to flip them gently. As soon as I flip them, I'll show you guys what they look like. You want to be gentle as you scrape the bottoms because you don't want to ruin the pancake. All right. I like using the rubber spatula for this because then it won't scrape my pan. All right, those are cooking on the other side. And then I'll show them to you guys. These go great with berries, maple syrup. You can even eat them plain. I have not tried freezing them, but if I were to freeze them, I would let them cool all the way. And then I would put them in a glass container and separate each layer with parchment paper so they don't stick together. And you can try freezing them that way. So that way, whenever you're in a rush and you just want something quick and easy to grab, these are easy for that. Someone had asked in one of our previous classes about the consistency of cassava. It's a lot more chewier than regular flour, so the texture is different. But to be completely honest, I prefer cassava over any other gluten-free flour because I think it's thicker and it adds better consistency. All right, scraping these. Feel free to add any questions in the box if you guys have any. We still need a few more minutes on each side. Alrighty, so we have our smoothie and our pancake bites. Thank you guys for joining. See you next time.